Hi, I'm Rosie.
Yay, I'm back on YouTube.
Welcome to my channel. We're looking to what's going on intuitively in the world, from the political to the personal.
You can book personal readings on my website, rosieinsights.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Rosie and Corina, psych investigators. I know some people get mad when if she was putting on her makeup. I thought she was done. She should have been done. But anyway, so here we are, it's Friday. What a week, what a time to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so so we're gonna start right away into today's topic, and which is the former Dutch Prime Minister, current head of NATO, Mark Rutte. So we had discussed him being the head of NATO yesterday, and there were some interesting comments about him, and because I had mentioned that the Dutch had successfully caught Russian hackers meddling in the election in 2016. And then people reminded us, no, actually, honestly, I did not know that there were one of the important events or relevant events related to the Ukraine war and Europe and the world is the shooting down of the let me share this with you, or of the, hold on. So here, this is Mark Rutte, because if you haven't watched yesterday's videos, he's the current head of NATO as of October 2024. So in 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 917 was shut down and 193 Dutch citizens died. Mark Rutte was the Dutch prime minister then. So this awful no, it actually wasn't an accident, but this awful event happened. And I mean, it was an accident, but long story, we'll get into it in a little bit. But he was very committed to bringing justice. Okay, here, and this is so interesting because this is an article from 10 years ago, November 2014. For 10 years, Mark Rutte has fought to bring justice for MH17 crash victims. So what is the story really of this, going back here? So here it is. So Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 was a scheduled passenger flight from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur that was shot down by Russian-backed forces while flying over eastern Ukraine. All 283 passengers and 15 crew were killed. Contact was lost when it was about 50 kilometers from the Ukraine-Russia border, and wreckage from the aircraft landed near Hrabov in Donetsk Oblast, Ukraine. So, and I remember, the reason I remember this too was that there's a website called Bellingcat, and they deal with a lot of Russian disinformation, like exposing disinformation. I remember them doing investigations about this, and there was even recordings. There were recordings from Russians involved in this that they had. It wasn't done on purpose, to be fair. It wasn't a person, but they did shoot down this airplane. And the whole thing is that Russia pretended it didn't happen, or it wasn't them, or they created some disinformation to essentially, yeah, pretend like it didn't happen. Okay, it wasn't them. So so this is one of, I think that's, so Corina and I were discussing earlier, and she and I thought, but she especially had the insights also about how this motivated Mark Rutte. So this is something he has been fighting for 10 years, and here he is now in a position to bring justice to the victims and to go after Russia, right? Which is the country technically responsible for this. So go ahead, Corina. So there was all the introduction. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
We were going to tune into, this is the question we were going to ask, and as Rosie was typing it out, immediately I saw the passengers from the plane. And I'm just going to speak because I don't really want to go into too much emotion here. So I saw the passengers from the plane on the other side. They're holding hands as a group. And what they were informing me is that this was no coincidence. There was no coincidence to this flight going down. Accidental or non-accidental, the other side says it's no coincidence. These people joined together to sacrifice themselves for the greater good, knowing time is no essence over there. Over here in human it is, but 10 years doesn't matter. It's time for their honor and for the truth to be revealed, as they have sacrificed their lives for the greater good. This was all part of the knowledge that's about to come about. Please stand in the truth. Know that we've done this for the greater good, and we are supporting from the other side. Okay, I'm going to stop there.
Okay. So I just wanted to add here that just to clarify what Corina meant is that she described as sacrifice is that, and this is why it's not new or right. It's like a lot of us see that when we come to the world, a lot of us quote unquote a mission or this is destined, and that's what you were referring to, right? When you said the thing that they sacrificed themselves, was that before they came to this world, this was part of their destiny or their mission, I think, right? That's what was right in a way.
Right.
So okay.
Yes. When an event, I do want to say, when an event like that is a big event, when there includes a lot of people, those events are fated events. Everybody has free will on this planet, but in an event like that, I am always told it is a fated event where a group of souls come down with a mission to complete. That was one of a fated event.
Okay. So right. That's so just to clarify, just so people people may not know.
I know
it's
hard to explain it. It really sometimes it is. So thank you for helping me do that.
Just don't know, because some people who are not experienced or don't watch a lot of the videos like ours.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what are you saying that they did on purpose? Or like, no, so just to clarify. So okay, and then let's see, anything else anybody wants to show us? So what do you see? Do you see any? I see, okay, I see a man. Interesting. What are you showing me? Oh, interesting. So I see a man. I don't see his face. He's wearing jeans and he has a blondish hair. I mean, it could be many different Dutch people. He shows me a globe and there's like pings, and I think it's about the satellite situation, the votes. And I see that he said, boom, it pinged, it went from place to place, the information laundering the data or the votes, something like that. And then it showed me, oh, the satellite, that's right. That's why it's showing for the globe, like from outside, Earth from outside, like the perspective of the satellite, like how it pinged and everything. And then he shows me the face of Mark Rutte with a camera taking pictures. So in other words, he's been watching them for a long time because he knows the same people who shot us down are the ones who are doing the American election. So that's so interesting. So he knows that in a way, he has a quote unquote agenda in a way, right? In the sense that there's something where he cares about also that is not more, he cares more about it than the American election, even though the American election will affect the entire world, which is again, justice for them on the other side. And they know very well that it's part of his mission, but that in order to catch them, that's why and it's saying interesting. Oh, that's right. So it's saying that that's one of the reasons why they caught all the Russian hackers because they knew that they had caused this thing. Right. So we have to pay attention. It's saying also him speaking and going after this, like the Russians weren't happy that they were being pressured to answer for this. And also he knew that he had to catch them in the act in other ways.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
why uh that's why he's it and I see it is telling me he's destined to catch them. He's
Hmm. Hmm.
he's catching them in the act and he's doing something about it. And also also just something that also did come up when we're talking about this, Corina and I, the whole thing with with America being, it's almost like it's in the middle of it and Europe can see it from a different perspective. I mean, they have just as much urgency because it's in their territory, but there's something about like the size of the US and all the propaganda and all the right that I think
Yes.
in a way, I know may sound a little strange to some people who are not used to this international perspective. Let's put it this way, right? But it is telling me that in the end, very much confirming, right, that it's going to be
Hmm.
the, how do you say it, the end of it, or we owe them a lot. They will have been the ones to have, I don't know. Does it make sense, Corina, what I'm saying? Like, right? Like that is,
It makes perfect sense. It had to come to this point of being both the election and all this stuff going around the world. And that's what these people are brought light to.
Mhm.
Every step that happened along the way, as sacrificial as they were for everybody that's been through anything like with this, it had to be about both now to end this whole nightmare, because it had to be now they can finally, not just all Russians, Putin's games, they can finally bring the elections into it, that look, this is what they're doing all over the world. And so it makes it easier to say it's cyber warfare and all that, because it had to tie together. I think if it was one or the other, it wouldn't be coming about as it is.
Mhm.
So, as weird as it may sound, it is all tied together, all these events.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's this part. So we're gonna, because there's other topics that we're going to discuss. Do you have anything else to add about this, Karina, or we'll pause the recording for now until
No, I think that's good. I think
we covered.
we
Okay,
shared, yeah.
so we're just want to pause here and then come back to discuss the other topics. So, hi guys. So we're back here. Took a short break, and there's more to discuss regarding Mark Rutte and other news of the day. And also, Karina reminded me to do the protection. So say the protection, even though it started already, but I'm going to start. So I'd like to ask for protection. Beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I'd like to ask that information come only from the highest sources that create the good and only the good. And so it is. Okay, so let's go back to here. Okay, so Corinne, are you there? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So just the whole thing that started looking further into Mark Rutte, as we discussed in the last video, because somebody had left a comment about his past connection with the Malaysia airplane. But also somebody also left a comment and we verified it. We found the article about NATO chief, so about him visiting Trump in Mar-a-Lago. And in fact, this is the newspaper, the Dutch newspaper that they referred to. But here, just to read this comment, saw that NATO chief Mark Rutte is visiting US President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago, Dutch newspaper The Telegraph reported. He flew on a Dutch government plane, as NATO's chief does not have a personal aircraft. The alliance often rents planes from NATO allies. Online flight radars show the Dutch government plane landed in Florida. Both the Dutch government and NATO did not immediately reply to a request for comment. Uh, so then we looked into, so then the person mentioned that the last sentence here. Maybe Donald couldn't handle the truth and had a health episode. So, which is kind of interesting. But so here is, in fact, we don't need to. I didn't link it. I realize here, but it's okay, right? We don't need to read the whole article.
No.
We read it earlier. So the NATO chief Mark. So okay. So it's just very interesting to us here that with all of it, he couldn't wait, right? He had to go talk. And given all the knowledge that we believe he has, and the feeling, not just the feeling, but all of the stuff that we're seeing happening in Europe with NATO and the Nordic countries, it's just interesting. So, and even this whole ambulance that we'll discuss in a little bit, but so let's look into it, Corina, right? Let's see what's going on. Why did he decide to go to Mar-a-Lago, and how was this meeting? Okay.
Okay.
Let's see what's going
I'm
on.
really nervous.
Let's see. Okay.
I can barely get details because I'm so panicked.
What do you mean panicked?
I'm feeling panic. Like probably from Trump.
Okay,
I'm just really I'm feeling really nervous.
so I'll let you.
I'm trying to focus because I'm just really feeling panic.
Okay, so Corinne,
What are you picking up?
okay, so or if you want more time, or it's up to you. Okay, I
No,
have information.
yeah, keep talking because then I'll understand why.
Okay, so it's interesting that I'll share it. Okay, so it's interesting. This was one of the first times I've ever okay, got this almost like this interference saying to not that word. I'm not hearing what he's there in the room, and sort of like I see his mouth moving, so to not so that we don't get what they're talking about. So I see
Yeah.
he goes, see that Margaret is like, okay, I'm gonna do it. He feels very confident about it. I'm gonna tell him that why we need to continue to support Ukraine. And he's very like, I'm gonna go confront it. His attitude, as we know, he has experience with the whole thing with the airplane, his past knowledge of Russian activities and so forth. So then he goes and he has some experience with Trump. So then I see that he goes in the airplane, and then I see with him, he does have intelligence people with him.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Dutch intelligence also. And I see that they're scrambled. Could be that they have scrambled the call, or that they so that it can't be detected, or there's something like this. So that he goes there very confident, and then he has these papers and he shows, he's like, okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. This is why it's important to keep, and then I do think, and then we can pick it up that he goes. Uh, and I think this is what I think is so interesting, that he has information. He's like, you know what? So this is the coordinates of the pings that we got about the American election. You know something about that, don't you, Donald?
Mm-hmm.
So it's the sense of like that he confront like, and then I see, because it's the first time I've ever seen something, I've ever had an experience like this, where I see that part of it's like, it's almost like, I think this would probably be the effect of a call being the signals being scrambled so that you can't hear what they're saying. But it's also because they don't want us to know what he was talking about in detail. But I see that the first are, so he says something very quick, and puts us on Trump's lap. And then to me, it's like a bomb that explodes. That he looks like he had like, oh, but obviously it's not a bomb. It's just explosive to him. And it's like this. And then that's ends the vision. And I see that he like leaves, like, okay, bye. and 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 then he has like, haha, bye. He's so happy, and he's like high fives the other people that wait for him in the plane. And and so this is what I got now, that Trump is in this frozen state, like this, shocked. He can't speak, tongue
Yeah.
tied, and he doesn't.
That's me. That's how I feel. I'm panicked.
And then okay, this was not gonna, this is for the few, we had it in some slides later, the story of the ambulance. I do think that he's like, "So, President Trump, are you uh, uh, President Trump, what's going on, President Trump?" Then he leaves us,
Yeah.
President Trump, uh, and then I see, interesting, he calls Boris, his actual Russian is, associate, whatever. It's like, hey, listen, talk to Boris. Can you tell him something? Tell him. So, what do you want to tell him? Uh, uh, he doesn't know what to say. Ah, ah. So, he's just dealing with this whole thing, and then, okay. So I do think, Corina, I
You're
think,
picking up how I'm feeling.
okay.
Exactly.
So I still want to, as you know, and I know, okay, guys, sometimes people comment and say, Rosie, let her Corina talk. So, but I am compelled to also ask more questions, because whenever I pick up something weird, I want to get to the bottom of it and
Mm-hmm.
why. So the first part of the question, so I see that Mark Rutte was very like, hey, yeah, we did it, whoa. So let me ask, even though, so let me ask here, Mark Rutte, what did you tell him? What did you do? Let me ask. Well, Rosie, I'm not gonna wait for the world to end. I'm not gonna wait around to see if he's you know what? I'm not going to wait for them to, because once they go, I see that once he comes in, he presses the button and it's over. So we have
Mm-hmm.
to act before he starts. That's why I had to meet him, because we have to act before he starts. Okay. So,
Yes.
all right. So, okay. So that's why. And he's like, high five, it stopped. Okay. Now I have, okay. So then so what happens next? Oh, then he goes back. I see he goes back to NATO, and then he's like, action, action, let's move. And then I see him giving a speech to the public. This is the time when we're confronting the enemy of civilization, or like, we're not letting things escalate, and it's getting to the point where it's dangerous for the whole world, blah, blah, blah. So he takes on this world leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
see that he calls, and then I see that he speaks to Kamala. Hey, Kamala, we're on the right track. Just
Mm-hmm.
something, and she understands immediately what he's talking about. They don't say anything. Uh, they don't say anything compromising, or that any intelligence service would pick up as. So nobody necessarily know. People don't necessarily know what he was congratulating her for, or saying to her. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
her cheeks getting like pink, like she's excited. She gets excited about it, but quiet. Now, then so then I have a question from this that I saw, because it's a concern that a lot of people have, right? If at this moment Trump were to drop out, or whatever you call it, there's Vance, and we know that their coup really is about Vance. That
Right.
is the way in, but that they plan to get rid of Trump. So the question is, will Rutte's actions stop Vance and Peter Thiel as well, or just Trump? Does it make sense? So maybe I just need more information here to understand what happened. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
So will his actions, see here, stop the share. Okay. So will
Uh-huh.
his actions affect Peter Thiel, or just Trump? How that way? Okay. So we're ready to
Yeah,
remove.
I think yes, but
Okay.
not immediate. Down, as they do this investigation.
I'm sorry. What? Say it again.
I get that they do it, he will be affected, but it's not the immediate. he's not the immediate one that, is affected.
So because
It's
what I
Trump, Putin, and so I'm sorry. Yes, we're talking about Vance. You're right. I've got to go back to Vance here.
okay, no,
But
because what I got, that's what I got. I don't know if you okay, just so for clarity, because it was the so I asked because of course I was concerned that if let's say Trump were to go, then we still have Vance. So then it showed me this image of like electric cables being cut, but it's not that they will cut like, oh, this could be the internet cables, but essentially saying that the way that they that also the thing that happens, Peter Thiel and Vance are also cut off from it because
mhm,
it shows that it is saying we have intercepted this signals that Russians have gotten into the election system. So I think it's something where they end up being affected. So in other words, it invalidates the whole thing. And so
right.
since they are so Trump is affected by it because he's shocked. But and I see that what he's doing, he's framing it as something that happened to NATO. Okay, so that's why he's saying that he doesn't make sense. So there's just something
Mhm,
there where so yes they will be so because my again Corina, my reason for asking this question is my worry that they could try to say, oh well, Trump is bad, but we have JD Vance, he's going to take over.
yeah.
So I don't, so is it, no, I
I
think that
don't feel
okay.
anything with that. You know what? Whenever I try to tune into Vance, and I'm sorry because I know this isn't what people want to hear, but I always get the word inconsequential at the moment. So I don't see him taking any kind of installment power or anything. I don't see that happening
Right,
at all. I
no,
can't
okay,
tune
yeah,
into anything.
all right, so that's good because I
Yeah.
just it's, and so it shows me that yes, as a consequence of whatever these actions happen, that it's like a cookie that crumbles, so the whole
Mm,
thing just falls apart, right? It's not like
right.
there's no part is left. It's part of it. He's part of the same thing, so they all collapse together. Together, I don't
Right.
know, right? So just it's not the thing is not there anymore. So okay, so then so wow, so okay. Do you have anything else? Because I think I got this part, and then we can
Yeah,
ask.
you did.
Okay, so let me know. Do you have anything more to add?
No, I think we got this part.
Yeah. Okay. So wow. So that was kind of unexpected here. So okay. So do we Karina? So two things we could ask about is what happens next. What are Rutte's next decisions about this whole escalation situation and the cable cutting and all that? And we can also ask about Trump's health because okay, maybe we should since it's already here, right? You should let's go to the so here. Why did we answer the question? Why did he visit it? And then we asked how is Trump's so I think this did touch in the ambulance story. Now,
Mhm.
just to be clear, so when it came out this news of the ambulance, and then a few minutes later, and I was like, oh wow, okay. And then I checked again, and the same reporter said that they spoke to the spokesperson of Trump. And this is so what's interesting. Let me share. I realize I'm not sharing. So what's interesting is the reaction, and with right wing, far right people like them, whenever they yell at you, like, oh, you're so stupid, you're this or that, whatever, which is F and dumb, they call the reporter, right? So if it was nothing, they would have said something like, oh, President
Mhm.
Trump is doing great, or his health is excellent, or something like, but the way they responding to me is in itself a red flag. Okay,
Mhm.
first
Mhm.
it accepts that, oh, maybe it was just JD Vance. But then I had read recently I received these called Punch Bowl News. It's very, very Senate and Congress specific. They had mentioned that AJ Vance was there negotiating the spots for the administration, which makes perfect sense. And so I'm not saying that Vance couldn't have gone, but it's just their response. And then when you think about it, two ambulances for JD Vance, really?
Mhm. Mhm.
And also,
And
go ahead.
where's the medical reports? I mean, when stuff like this happens, usually a doctor comes out and says, "Do you notice they never do that with these guys? They never come out and say exactly what happened
Mhm,
because
mhm.
they don't want you to know what happened." So if it wasn't any big deal, then show the medical report. Oh, he
Right.
had a seizure or whatever.
Mhm, mhm.
So, and who? You're not. telling us, you're saying, JD Vance, show us your proof.
Oh, and also, okay, and also it's telling me something else, because as Corina and I were talking about this, I was looking for the information about Rutte in, I saw a search Rutte Mar-a-Lago. There was the Dutch newspaper, but something about it, I honestly couldn't tell if it had already happened, because they had already found it. To me, I have a feeling that they almost wanted to hide or mislead the public a little bit about when it happened exactly. I have a feeling, don't you think, Rena? I don't think it was today, because they would have said something. They would have said, "Oh, I just feel like it could very much have been yesterday, around the, doesn't make sense, around the time of, right? Like I feel that it, because
Yeah, because look how many articles we pulled up to find that, and everyone had a different term, like past, it was past, present, future. I mean, everyone had a different term, remember? And we kept
that's right, that's
going
right.
to try and go
So
deeper and deeper and
they
deeper.
just, so it's so I guess we can ask, did he could have, okay, I just think, okay, and it's telling me, even if, let's say, Karina, let's say theoretically that the meeting is happening, but it tells me, as I try to pick it up now, I guess it's 3 p.m. already. It's saying it has already happened, past. So by the time I see that the airplane is no longer even in US soil, it's already wherever they are. And I see that actually Trump is not, he's not even there. Like he's kind of like not there right now, or maybe he's in the house, who knows? But I just think that there's like the health of Trump, from my understanding, he does not feel like a person who won. Like it's like a person who committed it's more like a person who committed a huge crime and now has realized he's been caught and does not know where to go or how to run away from it.
Right. He's a
So
person deciding whether it's easier to go down the road of our military and our laws and our jails or the Shark Tank and electrocution that Putin would probably give him. He is panicked. I can feel it. He is panicked. He is more scared of this because now it's coming out publicly of Putin's involvement this whole time, that he's been lying to everybody. So, and he's scared of that. He is scared. Like, I just can't even get through that. I get so shook up. So,
oh, and it tells me, it's telling me something else here. It's saying, Rosie, remember that the person who knows all the dirt on Russian interference from 10 years ago to now is now the head of NATO. So they don't feel like, I also feel like he's like, hey, listen, I know what you're about. I've been on your case, on your tail for years. What
Mhm.
been up to? So I'm a foot, I might if you up. So no,
Yeah,
but really, it's he's not, and I get this very strong sense that he's like, he didn't have to say that, but I know he's just not afraid at all. And I also feel like, for in a weird way, I feel like Biden is kind of has his hand tied in the way. I do think that the Europeans had to come to our rescue. And it's not
hmm
to minimize Biden or anything, but all of the apparatus, I would say again, the apparatus that he has around with the courts and the Senate, the House, and so forth.
exactly.
Think that there's not that much that he can do a lot, but it's saying, if the Europeans come and say, here's the thing, here's what we're going to do, you mess with us, you mess with NATO,
Right.
then Biden doesn't have to be like he's the one who does everything.
Exactly.
Saying, now, how are you going to respond to our allies NATO who came to our rescue when we were attacked? It's like they're
hmm
going to say, go, Rand Paul, yell at NATO's face. Right?
hmm
So it's saying also that a lot of these people, like a lot of people go to Europe, like it's not, imagine if you can't travel, what are you gonna go to North Korea, hang out in North Korea? Hell no. Right? Are you gonna hang out in
Exactly.
Iran? Like,
Yeah.
most of these people, they don't want to go to these places, right? They don't. They're like, oh, I would love to go to my house in the Riviera. I love to go to whatever,
Yeah.
Italy, or somewhere in the EU.
Yeah.
So they are in the ones in a kind of a difficult position. So, oh, and comes back now, Corina, to when we just had started doing these videos. I think it was maybe the second one or something, when I saw remember I saw that the EU was in on Peter Thiel's tail. And I remember someone's like, oh, but the the NATO does not go after civilian airplanes. So maybe it wasn't that it was the actual airplane. It was that it was on their tail as that, right? So sense that it was like
Exactly.
they can't
Because
escape,
I'm
right?
sorry. Yeah, exactly. And that's, another thing for people to understand when we get scenarios and stuff, we have to get it in a way that we understand the scenario. The details may change. So, and, with Biden, I'm going back to, I want to comment on Biden's hands being tied. That just goes to show you how effective Trump and Putin and all the ilk were at a successful information. Now we're dealing with cyber, obviously. But here in America, look at the disinformation warfare that we've had to deal with and how successful it's been to the point now that Europe has to come and save us because Biden's hands are tied in both directions. It's like he is so grateful for this. This, this NATO being able to be the ones. It just is the best scenario that can ever happen for the whole world, because then it shows also not only is America's democracy intact, the NATO alliance pact works, and we must preserve it, not tear it down.
Yes, yes. So, wow, very, very interesting. So that's great. That's great. So, okay, so Corina, just because we have the last part of today's discussion is the Putin's video. But I think just to wrap it up, because I kind of, I do get this feeling that I don't see, because I was going to ask about Trump. So what, like, for example, we asked, like, what is Trump's health going forward in the next week or so? I still see him being so affected by this that he's kind of like incapacitated in a way.
I'm going to ask you a quick question and I want to see, okay, just say what comes to your mind. Who was in the ambulance?
There's a man there, like, I don't know, a man with a beard. I don't know. I don't know. That's what I got.
Okay. I don't think it wants, when I hear the signal, the rambled signal. So let's just move on, because I don't think that we need to know any more details right now.
No, but I just get the sense that so in other words, I don't get the feeling of a person who's like, right? Because technically, if he had been the actual winner, true winner, in fact, irrefutable, he would be excited about it. He would be, yes, go, let's calling people and being active. I just think that he's in this
conundrum,
but also isolated and not able to talk to people, scared, like you said, what kind of tongue tied or something. So anyway, so that's
what I hear. He's exactly in the corner he's backed himself into.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That seems fair. Okay. And he's saying now he can't go. I can't escape, like a rat, cornered rat, really, because he can't escape. He put himself in this position. What is he going to do? Oh, by the way, right. So, so interesting. Okay.
No way out.
All right. So, okay. So now this is interesting that yesterday. So we going back to earlier. So even so much happens, right? So it was a few days ago, or whenever it was, that Biden said, okay, like you can use long range missiles into Russian territory, right? So then comes yesterday, there was all these attacks inside Russia. And these are obviously Ukrainian accounts. And I'm not, we should do we, okay, or maybe do you want to watch Corina, like here? So here, Putin lies that all ATACMS and Storm Shadow missiles launched in military targets in Russia were successfully intercepted, but the targets blew up anyway and suffered casualties. Russia is aft per the general staff leaks. Keep calm and keep striking. So he wants to give off this, I guess, facade of power. Hold on a second. So let's see.
I want to watch.
Okay.
Usually pick it up when we watch.
Yeah, let's see. Stop share, because I have to now reopen this thing because we're on camera. Now we're here. Weird. So funny. Okay. See, I never, because of course, I was like, of course, I do that, and someone said, It's the disgruntled Russian accent. Okay, but let's
My favorite one,
okay, so
slaves meat.
19 ноября 6 оперативно-тактическими ракетами атакам с производства США и 21 ноября в ходе комбинированной ракетной атаки системами Storm Shadow производства Великобритании и HIMARS производства США были нанесены удары по военным объектам на территории Российской Федерации. Наши системы противовоздушной обороны отражали эти атаки. В результате цели, которые очевидно были поставлены перед собой противником, не достигнуты. Возникшее на складе боеприпасов в Брянской области возгорание от падения обломков ракет «Атакамс» ликвидировано. В результате атаки и противовоздушного боя есть, к сожалению, пострадавшие. 19 ноября 6 оперативно-тактическими...
Сейчас стрел, возрез девочку. Okay, Corina, you there, son?
Yeah.
They are thinking they come here attack us, thinking we were attacked. There was explosion, but it was not a real explosion. It was a special effect. A thing fell on building, and that is truth. If you think it's we are attacked, no, it's not true. They put a little fire explosion with firecrackers and throw on us country. No believing. No believing because we are stronger. We're stronger. We're bigger. I'm here on television. Listen to me. See my face. I am pissing on pants, but truthfully, I say no, not pissing pants. Truly believing. I kill people. I throw building. I throw people building. I harass anybody. I'm not afraid of nobody. Come here, my face. Come here. Come get punch face here. Anybody, you see anybody coming here, punch me? No. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Move on. Go sleep. So right. So this is interesting. I don't know. It's interesting, Corina, because I really felt actually interesting enough. I did feel his frailty in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like that. In fact, he is. Can you believe he was saying that? He was actually no. They hit the building, but it was just a debris. It was not a real explosion.
Then show us.
Yeah, so because that's what he was saying, right? So no, what
Yeah.
you saw the explosion was a real explosion. It was something that fell on top of the building or something. So, but I feel like he's coming up again. It's a propaganda mindset that he's like, I have to create a narrative.
Yeah.
Now it's falling apart because you can't hide from that. So that's right. He's saying he's able to defend his borders, and that's serious, right? I mean, it's okay when I go at the country next to me, I can go in. I can put my own army. I can go get house, get people, get the children, anybody, because I can, because it's me. Look at me. I can do it. So, but when it's him, right?
Yeah.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. No.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm here television. Anything happened? No, nothing happened. I'm here television. So it's interesting, right? That he essentially saying, yes, he is admitting, and it's saying the Russian population kind of knows that S is hitting the fan.
Yes.
And they're like, yes, he's lost control. But in a weird way, because and this is all one of the mysteries, right? It's first of all, Russia is the largest country by territory, but it's so spread out. It's very hard to kind of first it's hard to get there if you're going to do some kind of coup or something. But the population is like, oh, finally we're done with this. We can't go like this anymore. Eventually it had to collapse. Even the people that are sort of brainwashed and watch the propaganda, they just know, just kind of like what we know in a different way, there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's right. And even him, they recognize the speeches. There's something. They're just not buying it. There's something about his mannerisms. They're not the same. So
they're starting to see through the illusion like everybody else.
Oh, okay.
Of their own, can you imagine, like I said earlier, what the effect of Putin and Trump have done in this country? So can you imagine being in that country and having no, you don't get influenced other than him. So they are really fighting it because they don't have any other way of thinking, especially some of the, the elderly ones buy into that. The younger ones are on social media and they see more and hear more. And So they're waking up to it, and their families are decimated.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
mean, completely. They have nothing left. And see, that's what I think Putin, what I kind of pick up from all that too, is his desperation
mhm,
is he's running out of people, soldiers, supplies, ammunition, everything. And now we're coming to the cold of winter.
mhm,
They don't, his people are just going to go over and go, hey, can you take me in and feed me? Like
mhm,
some of them have already done.
mhm, mhm,
So he's feeling that panic as well.
mhm. Okay. All right, all right. So, okay, so that's it. Interesting. So it
Whew.
honestly, as we're wrapping up for today, it also feels like the things that we're starting to see in the vision, the things that we perceive now in the world are starting to match the internal visions, don't you think? And that's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I have felt that anxiousness for the last couple days, but I usually tend to pick that anxiousness up
Mm-hmm.
a week or so before things start to really
Mm-hmm.
hit. So then today, peaceful as ever.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I think that was a shift yesterday for the good,
Mm-hmm.
that NATO visit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, more cracks,
Okay.
more cracks.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. All right. So, so for today, that's it for today. And
Yeah, I think that's good for today.
all right. So just pause recording. Thanks for watching and everything.
Thank you.